What's going on, YouTube? It might be a little bouncy. It might be a little bouncy. We are car chat vlogging. I am hands-free. So my actual eye contact with the lens is going to be limited. But I felt like this was important because I have taken a major break from my channel. Inadvertently, I have been really sick. Like, I have gotten colds, but I haven't been sick. Like, I need to go to the doctor in a long time, like years. Thought this was better to flip the screen around because then you're not getting all of my steering wheel. I'm sure I told you guys in a previous video a couple weeks back, the man got sick and it was a cough and the baby got it and I got it, but I didn't get rid of it. And that's not like me. If I'm down for a couple days. Usually not like I'm gonna call in and feel like I should be out of work for a whole week or anything like that. It's just, sorry, I dropped you guys. I dropped you. People driving behind me are like, what is wrong with this idiot? Anyway, I haven't been really sick like this in a long time, as I have stated. And with this particular sickness, it was a cough and that was pretty much most of it, just not feeling well in general. And then the strange thing that happened was my ear. Like my ear, I can't hear hardly at all out of this ear. Why are you fake crying back there? You need help with what? Are you done with your click looks? All done? Oh my God. You mutilated the click looks. She poured stuff all over. Okay. Take a nap if you want, honey. So, anyway, couldn't hear out of my right ear. My left ear a little bit, sinus pressure, yada yada. But it got to the point where at work, it was so busy on Friday night, I couldn't hear what my customers were saying very well. Like, I felt like I had a fishbowl on top of my head. And then when I would lean, like, I'd feel like I was gonna fall over because it had me like all spinny, like, you know, my equilibrium was off. So I'm like, I'm going to the doctor on Saturday. I was off work Saturday, thank God, and I went to urgent care. And when I left urgent care, I had 4 prescriptions. Like, what? I figured, you know, maybe an antibiotic, or maybe you're being a la-la. But I ended up walking out with amoxicillin, an ear drop that's medicated, Flonase, and a kind of like a coffee kind of syrup that's also a steroid to break everything up because all of this is clogged. Still can't hear 100% out of this ear, but it's every day getting a little bit better. And this side, the most concerning thing was the urgent care doctor looked in my ear and said, you have a tube in your ear on the membrane. And I'm like, oh yeah, I had tubes put in my ears when I was a child. I was like 5. And she's like, no, it's still there. And I go, no, another emergency room doctor when I was like 19 said it was still there. I went to an ENT and they said it's scar tissue. And she goes, I am telling you, that tube is on your membrane. So now I get to go see my regular doctor, who I've actually never seen before, and hopefully get referred out to an ENT and maybe get surgery. Which surgery doesn't scare me. I'm not one of those. It's like, wow, surgery. If anything, I'm like, can we plan it around Christmas so I can get 2 weeks off? You know, my lip is peeling. What the heck? So that's kind of where I've been. On top of being sick, I have unmotivated. I am so depressed. And I know people throw those words around like they are nothing. But I'm not one person that will lay on the couch and like watch movies or just binge TV. I'm always going. I will sit and binge watch YouTube, but most of the time I feel like YouTube is part of my job, like researching. No, I've been binge watching and not moving a whole lot, not really interested in cleaning, not really interested in the things that I do daily. I have been really overwhelmed with my kids' stuff. 2 of my boys started therapy, and it's been really good at first because I'm like part of it. Like me and the therapist talk, and then he talks to my boys, and we're doing anger management with the 3 boys because they tend to be complete jerk-offs to the little one. So that's kind of been a new thing, on top of dental appointments and getting the very first appointments for ortho. And then one of my kids had like a tartar buildup way down here that couldn't be cleaned by their child dentist because they don't have like drills and stuff, which is kind of weird to me. But we had to be referred out for another dentist, like an adult dentist, to clean up his teeth properly. And I'm really butting heads with one of my kids right now. I had the same problem with my 14-year-old when he was in junior high. There's something about the junior high mark that turns them into monsters. And I'm not talking like tantrums, or it's just like, what happened to my cute little boy? You have an attitude? I don't even know who you are. You're like a demon. And you make no sense, and then they just don't do anything. Like, no activities, no extracurricular, and no interest in school. And that was part of the reason why we started going to therapy, because he's made some off comments about life ending and it doesn't matter. So I was like, you need to go to therapy. Also because I know I'm kind of kooky. So I'm hoping to give my boys, if my daughters need it too, the resources that I didn't have so they can better control the kooky if they have it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I know we're all a little kooky, but I have really dark tendencies in my head, and if I go into them, it takes a long time to get out. And being sick and feeling that way, it's easy to do the stuff that I need to for my kids because they're my kids, right? It's like they need to go to the ortho, they need to go to the dentist, asthma needed shots. You know, you get all that stuff done, but at the end of the day, my self-care has been, and I'm like going to sleep with my makeup on, not caring, doing a sheet mask, but not, you know what I mean? Like just not really caring. On top of that, I hope I don't cry while I'm driving because it's so embarrassing. But my job has been so bad. So bad. It has been so slow for months. And I'm not talking, like usually because we're a small casino, usually it's slow in the summertime because people go on vacations, their kids are out of school, which I always thought it'd be the opposite. Like if your kids are in school but you can go gamble, but when your kids are out of school you can't go gamble. Anyway, not my place to judge, but that's just always how it's been. Well, now school's back in. We are September into October, and that place is just crickets. So you go to work and you're not making very good money. You might have one good day, but it doesn't float all the rest. And there's tension in the building at all times because everyone is struggling. All the dealers are struggling. They're irritated. They're sad. They're broke. And it's just hard. It's hard to stay positive. So you can go in every night and be like, I'm gonna kill this with my positivity. But after standing there for 3 hours before you even deal a card to a person, it's hard to continue being positive. be a moody bee. You know, I try to keep to myself, I try to keep quiet, I try to stay out of drama, and I try usually not to really make real friends, because real friends see the good and the bad in you, because it's like, I'm gonna keep up my shell and protect myself. And I've made some friends and kind of had this recent not tell you what you want to hear, so it slapped me in my face and I didn't like it. But I could see where they were coming from. I could see the thought process. And one of the things that this friend of mine said to me was, you can be so moody, it's hard to tell what Vanessa we're gonna get today. So I need to work on that. Bottom line, even if I don't feel like I'm always like that, even though I feel like if I'm in a mood, I'm gonna stick to myself. I mean, that's not really fair. And that would be like, as a friend, oh, is Vanessa open to conversation today or is she not? So I need to work on that if I want to keep the 2 friends that I have, right? I'm aware of that. But I also need to be okay with the people that aren't really friends. They're just people you work with, being kind and not too personal. Because I've noticed that because it's so dead and we're all bored, that some malicious intent has come around. There have been comments and things that you hear about other people or other people have said about you, and it's really because their hands aren't busy. What is it? Idle hands are the hands of the devil, my grandma used to say. So that's where Vanessa has been. I go to work and it's miserable. I'm been sick and my mental health is not great. But today I was like, I have to change something. Can't just go in and quit my job, right? Because some of those same things are gonna follow you no matter what, because it's who you are. And it's the business I'm in. Even if I start school for a new trade or a degree tomorrow, I still have to work at least part-time. So what can I do today? And I realized something. I got this little email from Oprah's Deepak Chakra. I don't know. I'll leave what I'm talking about down below. They do these sessions, right? These online sessions, and it's classes on, finding happiness and da 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 da. You can sign up for their app or you can use the website, whatever. Once you log into the app, there's a whole series of classes, and most of them are paid for. It's like $49 to $69 per these classes, and it talks about meditation and blah blah blah, and I'm like, that's me spending $69 on your class is not going to change my mental health or my positive outlook. But they have a new class coming up at the end of October that's free, and it's the 12 ways to find happiness and live longer, something along those lines. And I'm sure not all of the content is free, just some of the content is free. And the lectures and maybe some guided meditation. So I signed up for it. And I listened to day 2, like a preview to the lecture. And it talked about gratitude. And if anybody has followed or read The Secret back in the day, or manifesting your own reality, I've never been very good about that because I can be so damn negative in my own head. I can preach positivity to other people. I can tell other people how beautiful, wonderful, creative, smart, energizing they are. I have a hard-ass time doing it for myself. So I listened to this little, I'm a mess. So I listened to this little 10-minute thing. And it really talked about pick 3 things that you are grateful for. And it doesn't have to be crazy things. It doesn't have to be big things. Just any 3 things. And I did. And I thought about the man him and I have been like this lately. I thought about my kids. And I thought about coffee. I know. It said pick all choices, So it was like, be grateful and thankful for that thing. And then imagine that thing accepting your gratitude and that feeling. And you know, you could visualize what it would look like to look into your child's eyes or your partner's eyes or a friend that you're not crazy with and say thank you. And imagine them looking back at you and saying, you're welcome. And that feeling, it was like you could make that feeling happen. It transformed my effing day. Nothing has changed from the time I woke up. I don't have more money in my bank account. I don't have any less worries. I still can't hear out of my right ear. But those are the kind of things that you can do to self-manifest. It's another thing that I've realized in life. I haven't been very grateful because I haven't liked the outcome. I haven't been grateful for my job because I'm like, I made $5 and I worked 7.5 hours. And it's really hard to be like, oh, well, that's $5 more than you had when you walked in. But if I can go back to when I first came back to work and one of the first nights that I made a couple $100s, you could bet your ass I was grateful. I was grateful that they hired me back. I was grateful that I had the job. I was grateful for all of it. So I think that's the way that you sometimes have to trick yourself until you really feel it. I'm fighting with a child, right? One of my kids is really like, I mean, he's giving it to me. You know, when I tell him one thing, he comes right back and it's like he knows how to hurt me. I'm like, why are you wearing those pants? They're dirty pants. You give me my brother's hand-me-downs. What? Buy you new clothes too, dummy. Like, you know, but if I think about the last time that he just came over and sat in my lap and I played with his hair and say thank you. And imagine him looking up at me with his big old brown eyes and him saying thank you, you're welcome. And feeling that, now when I pick his little butt up, I can talk to him. And I can feel, instead of anger, that gratitude to transcend. So this is where I've been. And who cries on YouTube except people that have apologies? I'm not apologizing. I'm just telling you guys where I've been. But this is it. This is what I'm going through, which I think we all go through it, right? And I don't treat YouTube like it's a business because it doesn't really make me any money. But I love to do it. So I think I need to treat YouTube more like it's a business in the sense, or maybe more like it's a volunteer work that I signed up for. So I can be consistent, because I have not been consistent. I can make up all the excuses in the world, but I should be posting at least 3 times a week, no matter what. Even if it's arm swatches, or I come on camera and tell you guys what the hell has been going on. Something. Sometimes you feel like it's being too personal, but I feel like really that's why people come to YouTube. Unless you're teaching them something that they never knew before, they're there directly for a product. A lot of you guys are here because of me, and that's hard to wrap your head around sometimes. So I am here to tell you guys that I'm going to try really damn hard to get back to my filming schedule of, oh my god, stop it, of 3 times a week. I'll let you guys know how this, you know, trying to not be a negative person, and I'm not saying that I automatically assume the worst. It's not that I'm that kind of negative person. I'm just self-deprecating negative, you know, like kind of, I don't want to say hate myself negative, because I don't have a lot of self-hate. I have a lot of self-doubt, and I also kick myself for my life experience or lack thereof, the paths that I chose instead of these kind of paths. But the bottom line is I need to accept that this is the path And if I don't really enjoy the path I'm on, I need to change it. And change is hard. I used to really love change, and now it's not safe all the time. And when you have 5 kids, sometimes it's not easy to be unsafe because you think about them and what they need. But the bottom line, I know my kids would rather me just be happy, period, because I am cold and hard sometimes. So I hope I didn't make you guys crazy with my bounce around car chat. This little tears that came, they definitely helped release something. I've got, you know, some nasal flow here, so thank you for that. Anyway, guys, I will have some makeup up for you guys soon. I returned the Kat Von D palette, okay? Just gonna let you know. I've never done that before to Sephora, but I did it. So there you go. All right, guys, I love you so much. If you made it this far, leave me a big blue heart in the comments section. Bye.
Don't forget, you can subscribe down here, and for more videos, click over here. Possibly there. There's places to click. Click them all!